Call the Satsuma City Council, our pre-council meeting to order. We usually try to run through our agenda at about 6 o'clock, so we don't get stumped in the meeting and have to drag it out very long. So tonight we've got an agenda, and we generally will ask if anybody has anything they want to speak about during the pre-council. We got a little extra time here, and it's a little more informal. But if you're not on the agenda, we'll ask you keep your comments somewhat brief, since we may not have the information in front of us to provide an answer. But with that being said, we're going to call to order, and as always, we follow that by the invocation. I think it was Ms. Reese last time, is that correct? And
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Little, you want to do the invocation and then follow with a pledge, as we always do. So we have a roll call. The clerk has informed me that Mr. Skelton is under the weather tonight, so he'll be able to attend. We had an agenda that was put out. I think that y'all all got the email yesterday on what was there. So the last agenda has been published and it's in our packet. So does anybody have any additions, corrections, or anything, or can we move forward? We've been somewhat informal. If we've brought something up in the past, to let it come out to be discussed. So y'all want to look over it, or have y'all had a chance to see it?
I can make the motion at the meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion will be made by Ms. Reese, to be seconded by Mr. Little. Okay, our last meeting was held on July the 19th, 2022, and I think she sent out the minutes on an email to you on either Thursday or Friday of last week, I think it came. Have y'all had a chance to look over the minutes? Don't they have it in hard copy here in front of you?
I'll make that motion to approve them.
Mr. Little will make the motion. Mr. Phillips will second. We have not a recognition, but I guess it'd be as close to a recognition tonight. McConaughey Drugstore here in Satsuma is celebrating their 70th anniversary. 70 years in business, that's quite a time and an accomplishment. They're going to have a little ceremony at 10 a.m. tomorrow, if any of you are available, where you can come by. And we would like to invite you to come by on behalf of the employees and all who called, and wanted me to remind everybody of that. And so those of you who are here or can attend, but it's honoring McConaughey Drugstore for 70 years of service and dedication to the citizens of the city of Satsuma. Whereas after graduating in 1947, Norman John McConaughey worked tirelessly filling prescriptions for Albright and Wood. In 1952, at the young age of 27, he opened his namesake business at 5565 U.S. Highway 43 South, and has continued the remainder of his life sharing the medical knowledge with the community. And whereas the drugstore is remembered by many as being just famous for its soda fountain ice cream as it was for filling the prescriptions. And whereas Dan McConaughey, a 1979 Auburn University Pharmacy School graduate and the son of John and Fannie Baker McConaughey, currently runs the pharmacy. And whereas McConaughey Drugstore is among the few locally owned and operated pharmacies in Alabama, and includes the only pharmacy offering sterile compounds in Mobile County. And now, therefore, I, Mark Barlow, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, and speaking on behalf of the entire city council of the city of Satsuma, do hereby issue this proclamation recognizing and honoring McConaughey Drugstore for 70 years of dedicated service to the citizens of the city of Satsuma. And then it has the 16th day of this year, and be signed by me. And so, like I said, if y'all got time on your calendar tomorrow, we're going to have this presented to Dan over at the drugstore. I'm guilty of what people are telling me now that are listening, that they cannot hear us every week, so it sounds up here like we're blasting y'all out, but apparently in the back you can't hear, so I did have that on my notes to remind y'all to try to speak up so that everyone can hear. Visitors tonight, Crystal Seeley, to request and have Satsuma High School Homecoming Parade on September the 15th, 2022. Is she here at this point? Come on up, please, and just state your name and tell us when, the times, and, the information that we will need,
Okay.
Crystal.
I'm Crystal Seeley. I'm the event planning teacher at Satsuma High School. So I'm here on behalf of the high school. We want to ask if we can have our community-wide homecoming parade. We want to do it at 6 o'clock at night. We did this a couple years ago, and I think it went over really well in the community because parents got to come, community members, the elementary school students got to come. So that's what we're asking.
What day is that on?
It's a Thursday night, September 15th.
Mayor, if I can say Sergeant Wilcott has checked and everything is clear for the police department to block off roads on that day from right,
Yeah, the route would be from Wright Park, and it would end in the parking lot at the high school,
Okay, and route would be on?
just on Old 43.
Old 43? Yeah, Dad, so before, please make sure you contact the police and fire department so they can make arrangements to help and do any last-minute things we may need to do as far as barricades and all.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't personally have a problem. Does anybody see anything? Okay,
Okay.
well, if there's,
All right.
good luck with it. I hope the weather will
Okay.
cooperate, and
I know.
hopefully y'all can have a
Okay.
good season started.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. And our second person, we all know very well, is Miss Judy Callen to request a waiver of rental fees on Steel Creek Lodge on December the 13th, 2022 for a Women's Club fundraiser. Miss Callen, would you please come forward when you get through with that?
The Women's Club is, Judy Callen, 5603 Orchard Street. The Women's Club is planning their annual Thanksgiving dinner for November 13th. There is a wedding the night before, but it shouldn't interfere with us on that Sunday. So we're requesting the $750 rental fee to be waived, and if you would even consider the cleaning fee waived, the Women's Club would clean it. So that's what I'm bringing before you.
What time?
It's from 12 to 2, was that right? 12 o'clock noon till 2.
What type fundraiser are y'all planning to?
Well, it'll be Thanksgiving dinner with all the trimmings that we do every November.
Are y'all going to sell tickets to it?
Yes. This is our biggest fundraiser, and while I'm here, I would like to tell you some of our other fundraisers. We worked it out with the library that usually has a tour of homes. We worked it out with them that the ladies' club, the women's club, will have the tour of homes this year. This will only be a one-year thing, and then it goes back to their organization. We've got 6 houses, a church, possibly 2 churches, 3 businesses, and the library, already with a possibility of 3 more houses on the tour. The tickets will be $15, and it'll be December the 10th. December 10th, Saturday, December 10th.
Please make sure those are listed on the city calendar.
We also have on October the 8th, the yard sale. The place is to be announced. That's a Saturday, and we're thinking it'll probably be at the Masonic Lodge, but we're still waiting on approval for that. And then one other fundraiser that's tentative for the spring is a Tim Lovelace concert. So we're fast and furiously trying to raise some funds to see this project move ahead. So, thank you.
Questions, y'all have anything you need to?
I don't see a problem, and as far as waiving the cleaning fee, we know this group, and I think it'll be sufficiently clean, so I don't have a problem with that either.
All right. Okay, at the council meeting, we'll make it formal. Thank you. Is there anyone else wanting to come before the council tonight? Sure.
As y'all know, the Friends for Satsuma helped with a breakfast for the Institute Day this year, back in the first of the month. And I want to commend the city council and whoever had part in redoing the kitchen and the whole lodge. It looks fantastic. The kitchen was superb. Everything went wonderfully well, and everybody that hadn't seen it was blown away with how good it looked. So kudos to that. I think that's such a wonderful asset to our city, and makes our city look real sharp when they come into it and see it looking that nice. So good going, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's our recognitions and our visitors. Heather, is anyone else that you know of said they were coming before the council tonight? Thank you. Okay, moving on to the mayor's report. A lot of the routine business has been going on through the city in the last few weeks. Don't forget, we're hoping to have the bidding of the municipal street project to, I think, the 26th with the opening to the 31st. So looking forward to getting that work going. Don't forget that Thursday night, the municipal dinner is in Centennial. I think she called and asked everyone last week if they would be able to attend. So hopefully he was able to get that. I've had for the reminder of the proclamation tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock for McConaughey's. We've already gone over that. Just in the bullet in your packet tonight, you'll see that we've gotten some prices for fuel. I think most of you know we looked at the fuel system that we had here at the city that we used to use prior to the cards. We were able to get it back running. The Public Works guys were. So we can keep our, we will have an alternative fuel if, in fact, we were to have a hurricane or something. We still have our own independent fuel system. We've got some prices about looking to get some unleaded and some diesel. I wanted y'all to look over that. I didn't think any. Okay. Yeah, we'll get copies for the meeting. I wanted you to know Travis did call. They called me yesterday afternoon late with that, so I told him we would look over the prices and discuss it tonight. Good news, but not good news. The signs we've been waiting on for months did come in for Juniper that we've been wanting to put up, illuminating, showing the curve and the danger there. We've been talking about it for quite some time. But Travis, as of today, all the hardware to put the things up did not come with it, has it?
No, it did not come. We contacted them today, and they said it's supposed to be shipped out today, so sometime this week we should have it. So once we get it, we have to get it located, and it'll be up as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Tom, was you able to get signed off on the 3rd Street project with Rowe Engineering, as you'd said from that 2 years ago, 3?
Down the road last week, about 1 o'clock on Friday. We took him to the ditches, he reviewed them all. He's got all the paperwork and the maps, and he's writing a letter to give to the lady at the grant.
He is going to write the letter.
Yes. I spoke to him today, he said he was working on it right now. But he had everything he needed, he's done everything they found.
Okay, thank you. Rather than tying the meeting up tonight for a long time, I would like for us to look at a workshop being called, and I was going to see if there's a date that works better for everybody. Of course, court and the municipal dinner is this Thursday night. Next week, we have no municipal dinner, no municipal meetings that I'm aware of. See anything on the calendar for,
What next Tuesday night?
that's good with me. How does that look for y'all next Tuesday, that's the 23rd?
That'll be fine.
Talking about for the budget?
Well, there's several things, Mr.
Several.
Little, but yes, mainly we have got to get started on the budget. I'd like for us to discuss the police department vacancies that we have and the promotions. Also, the police department has been working on some security things that I've mentioned to y'all before, and I would like to discuss those in a workshop setting, and we can look at the prices, what it may take to get some of those things moving.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, but yes, the things that I have is, number one, the budget, number two, police promotions and vacancies. That'd be police, which is related to city security. Several of the department heads, mainly the police, have looked at our parking ordinance that we might need to do some updating on. And I wanted to let y'all know about our code enforcement and some of the contacts that we have made on different residents around, so that y'all would be made aware of what we have going on. So
Is that the 23rd?
next Tuesday is the 23rd. That is correct, yes, sir. Is that not
That's good.
6 p.m. on the 23rd? For a workshop, we'll set that. Okay? And then I have some, pardon? Oh, yeah, right, this one said we'll make it formal during the meeting. And then we have some park issues that we'll discuss in our regular meeting at 7 o'clock. Moving on to public services, Mr. Little.
Mayor, really just normal stuff. Travis did tell me about a few things. Charlie was working on sanitation department as far as a few things, a few items on trucks, but everything's running smoothly.
Good. That's good to hear. Moving to public safety,
I don't
Mr.
have
Butler.
anything tonight.
As I said earlier, the city clerk has said that Mr. Skelton's a little under the weather, so he's out, and he did not forward anything he wanted brought up, did he? Okay, I didn't hear from him either, so. Okay, we'll move on to Ms. Reese in Parks and Recreation.
Yes, sir, thank you. Speaking of the budget, there were two things that I can go ahead and mention this evening. One is Ms. Trish with City Hall brought it to my attention that, and I believe Randy's touched on this before, the community center, it is in desperate need of a makeover. And so we have some paint here and looking at, freshening things up, giving it a paint job, and then some new tables and chairs that maybe we could incorporate into our talks, our workshop about the budget coming up, so we could move on that in early October. It appears that the rental is down a bit, and it could have to do with the appearance of the community center. Also, I got an email from Tiffany at the library, and she had mentioned about the pay raises that the other city employees have gotten recently, and I was wondering if we could consider doing an increase in their appropriation to include the percentage of the pay raise that was given to the city employees. And it says that she sent something to Heather. I don't know if you've gotten that information yet. No, okay. But just as a reminder, we don't pay the library employees' salary. They get the appropriation from the city, and then they determine how that money is spent. Also, she did mention that the library would be willing to come up with $5,000 towards the electronic sign that I think Mayor Barley, you brought up the last meeting. So she said that she thinks they can do that. So I don't know if we want to just keep maybe looking into that as an option. She had a few events that I can just talk about in the regular meeting, just, with the library that's going on. Also, you had said mention some park stuff at the regular meeting. Was that for the nets, or do you want me to talk about that now?
You can talk, go ahead with the next.
Okay. It was brought to my attention that there is a safety concern at Lions Park on the large Babe Ruth field, pretty much between, I guess, like the third base side outfield all the way to like center field. I think there's a scoreboard that's up there. Baseballs are being hit into the neighbors, is that Second Street? Into the houses and yards and vehicles of, on Second Street. So, like I said, it was brought to my attention, someone might get hit with a ball if we don't do something about it. And I sent an email to the mayor and copied Heather and just had a suggestion of possibly maybe putting a net, extending it like a net above the fence. But I guess that's something that we can talk about and share ideas if anybody's heard of anything that might help, prevent someone from getting hurt. I think we need to look into that.
Put that on the workshop, Mayor.
I think Tom said he has somebody that he can ask maybe that would, might be able to offer.
I want to discuss that. We actually having baseballs hit them houses.
It's not from the kids that are playing like
If
the,
we do, I want to call the scouts to come watch our game.
well, it's older students that are having like a home run derby type thing.
Yeah, if they're hitting them houses, we need to get somebody to come watch them. That park's been there 60 years, and I've never, ever heard this. They hit home runs, but they usually roll to the yard. I'm wondering how many's went in the houses over there.
Or just even anybody walking by, I guess it would be the concern.
That's any ballpark.
Okay.
What I'm saying is any ballpark you go to, there's not nets around the whole fence.
The person that had expressed concern, they did say that they could come to the meeting. Do you think that
I think that'd help.
you'd like for them to be there? Okay, I'll let them know. And they just wanted to, they had
Yeah, I
talked
just
to the
wanted to know how
neighbors
far they
that were
hit
there, and it has been going on for quite some time now.
Then how high would you put the nets? Next thing I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Because
what,
if it's hitting that house, it's going pretty high over that fence, is what I'm sitting here thinking.
sure. Okay, and then Heather sent out an email to you guys. I was tasked, everybody was tasked with coming up with some budget numbers of, where is the money going to come from of the things that we want to buy. And so Heather sent you guys the information. So we have money left from the Still Creek renovation project, the Parks and Recreation budget, and the capital project for the C&D field renovation. So with those figures, we took off some of the things that we've already approved, which is like the Bark Park sign. That's in the packet. We've approved that. It would leave money for the C&D field at the $29,000 quote. And then I have not heard back from Ms. Ludgood's office, but I think that if we can go ahead and get the fountain after the sign, and we move forward with that, the park is looking really good, that we might can schedule like a ribbon cutting opening celebration. And I know that we wanted to replace the playground that was taken, I guess deconstructed at the Bark Park due to it not being safe, but would like to look at getting a new playground space with the new budget and kind of have that kick off like in October. If we could go ahead and identify kind of what playground we want to get, we can all talk about that, and then maybe order it. I don't know how long it takes for those kind of things to come in. And then as the weather breaks, people can come into the park and kind of enjoy that, because we've got, the basketball area is redone as well. And we want to pour some concrete for the benches, and then also underneath that pavilion, so we can put a picnic table and people can have parties and like little birthday parties and get-togethers, and just a place to kind of get out of the sun, get some shade. So that money is, the money is in the budget for those things, and so I just wanted to share those with you guys. And I think that's it.
Moving to Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, Mayor, first thing is, riding around the city Saturday, I want to thank Travis Jones and the Public Works Department. I don't think I've ever seen the city this clean. I mean, excellent job, and I wanted to be sure, and thank you for that. And also, if I'm not wrong, October 1st is Breast Cancer Month, is that correct? I would really like to see us purchase pink light bulbs and put in Baldwin Square for the month of October, just like we did for Christmas. We've changed the lights, and I think it'd be a nice gesture. So I'll bring that up to regular meeting, but the bulbs we used at Christmas, if I'm not wrong, they was right around $400. We're not talking about a lot of money, but I would like to see that done. And that's all I got, Mayor.
Travis, can we find out what the price or what the availability of getting those, the pink bulbs are, and what the price would be, so we'll know exactly what it is? Nice Baldwin Square. Okay, well, we've, let's go on down to the payment of the bills. Have y'all had a chance to look over those?
I've looked at them. I'll put that in the motion. Regular meeting.
I'll second it.
Mr. Phillips is going to make the motion. Mr. Little is going to second. Okay, B, discussion and consideration of purchasing a 5-ton unit for Steel Creek Lodge. We've got some prices, and the existing 3 units that we have some age on them. And we did have some complaints from some of the renters over the summer that on the really hot days that it just could not cool the facility or keep it down whenever they have big events. So, want y'all to look at it, whatever you think. I'm okay with it. I think we may have some electrical expense to try to get the power down to it, because according to Tom, they used the power that went to the 4th unit to do some of the upgrades that we've done in the interior, mainly around the kitchen. So we may incur a little expense there, but y'all show you what the bids are that we've got.
Mayor, I'd like to see 3 bids on that. I don't see but 2.
Okay.
Is there 3 or 2, Tom? Am I missing one? Yeah, I want 3 bids.
Two contractors that work out of the city.
Understand that, but we still need 3 bids.
Okay, we'll get another bid and let y'all know at the next meeting. But I'm just trying to get a feel on the council. I don't want us to go wasting a lot of time if there's any opposition to adding a unit. This is really just going back to where we were several years ago.
I think it needs to be done.
Okay. All right, we'll get another bid. C is something that the city clerk had asked about putting on, discussion and consideration of increasing business license issuance fees from $12 to $14. Really ain't, I mean, how many business licenses we got, it ain't gonna matter to anything. So, I mean, just,
Every 5 years, the Department of Revenue does a survey with the price index with the revenue, and they communicate to the municipalities what the possibility of increases are, and it's the first time it's been increased in, I think, 10 years. And they were suggesting to go from 12 to 14. So,
You know, Mayor, it's just $2, but right now with the economy crashing like it's doing, I just don't think it's a good time to increase nothing, personally. You know, I'm not in favor of trying to tax anybody anything, because right now, businesses are all 50%. You know, if you go to the home industry and look at all, a lot of our permits go to that. And
I
that's
would
just my
say that
opinion.
We're probably one of the lowest cities on business license.
I agree, but like I say, I'm not for increasing anything, but that's just my opinion, you know.
Okay,
Just think of it with your budget when your revenues.
okay. D and E are basically the same thing, I think. We are discussing giving a 5% pay increase for the two new firemen for the EMT that they have completed the course. I think have they taken their final exam yet, Chief, on the EM? So they've passed the National Registry? Okay. So they have passed that now. I think they're still doing some rotations, but they also have completed the firefighter 1 and 2 school in Mobile, so. Okay. What time next Friday will that be? I was going to ask him. Okay. And along that, the police officer is graduating from the academy on what day? Being day after tomorrow, Thursday, in Selma. Are you going to be able to attend? Do you want to ride up with him? Did you want to ride up with him for Thursday?
can.
If you'd like to, go ahead, do that, so you can represent. And then once we get his certification, I will put him on for the next meeting also. That ought to help both of you out, getting both of those, all three of those out of school, because we're good. I'm glad to see that. But anyway, the D and E is both, it would be a 10% raise for the two new firemen for graduating firefighter school 1 and 2 and EMT class, so. Okay, good. Mr. Butler's got that,
I'll second.
and Mr. Little second. Okay,
Mayor, I would like to say that Mr. Alexander Miller will probably graduate with honors out of fire school.
oh, good. Glad to hear he done well. Seems to be a nice young man. Hopefully be with us for a while. Okay, F, discussion and consideration of a claim from Jeremy Holly for damage to a mailbox by the garbage department. I think the arm on the truck, Travis, is that correct, stayed out and damaged the mailbox, so. So I think between Travis and them looking into it, he said it was just an accident, one of those things that happened. We wish people would not put the garbage cans so close to the mailbox. It's hard to do. It's a wonder we don't have it more often than we do. So, we're looking at, damage. I think it's you did get that in the packet for the council to look at. Y'all can look at it and see. So I think it's going to be around $300 to fix the mailbox. It was a nice one, so.
I'll make that motion.
Just notice, council, that on his claim, he requested, payment for concrete, anchor bolts, and labor. And he said he would be doing the labor at $50 an hour.
No.
Just make sure you see that.
How much is the total bill?
Depending on which mailbox that you choose, there's one for $309, one for $329,
But that's total.
and no, sir, that's just the mailbox. And then 446, that's 3 different estimates on it. And then he's got, $5.98 for concrete, $100 for the labor, and then so a extra total of $124.78 plus the box.
Could add that we can install the mailbox for way less than.
Just wondering, the old anchor boats wouldn't work, you know.
He's got anchor bolts, 486 times 4.
Item 4 is less than $20, so.
And then the concrete, 588.
588 for the concrete?
Sack Creek.
Where's that?
$5
I mean, the biggest thing's the labor he's charging for.
Yeah.
If you,
I just told him that, we weren't in the habit of doing that, but it's certainly y'all's choice, so. Will you do the motion?
Okay, well, we can bring it up at the meeting. Y'all look over it and see what you want to do. I mean, there's no doubt we need to do the mailbox, whether you want to pay the labor or not, we can decide at the meeting. Okay, ordinance, that completes everything. Resolution, ordinances, orders, and other business. A, ordinance 544, annexation. That's the Mr. New property that was discussed at the last council meeting, so it's in there, so.
just need a motion to accept it.
Yeah, since it was discussed at length, I don't think we need to read it all. Do you just basically go in and say ordinance 544, and it's the annexation of the new property, which was discussed at that meeting?
I'll do that.
Okay. Mr. Little will do that one. I'll need somebody to second his motion when he reads it. Butler said he'd do that. B, ordinance 545, business license issuance fee increase. But if we don't do if it doesn't make it past the increase, then it won't be up for an adoption tonight.
Randy and Mike, what do you guys want to do on that? I say it's $2. How do you feel about it?
I'm gonna vote for it, I mean, when it comes up. But
Okay.
We can, I guess if it don't, we won't have to handle that.
Okay.
Well, somebody's going to have to make it in a motion.
Oh, I
if
can make
does
it
get to it.
on C. I'll make the motion on C and on B.
All right.
And we
Now,
forgot,
on B, we had said they wanted a third bid.
No, I'm sorry, B on the resolutions down at the bottom.
B on resolution, okay, you said you would make that motion.
Yes, sir.
All right,
So long as C gets passed.
okay. Well,
we forgot to set that workshop too, wherever y'all wanna put that.
And the waive the fee for the women's club.
I was just going to do that when they come forward, just make a motion
Okay,
when they recognize them at the meeting, if that's okay.
Fine, yeah.
okay.
Okay, so, you can make the motion at that point.
Yeah.
Pardon? And workshop. Okay, I put it on my notes to do, so we'll add G, schedule a workshop. And we're gonna set that for Tuesday, 8/23 at 6 PM. Those are all the items that's coming before the council tonight that I know of. Does anybody have anything else? All right, well, it is 6:41, so we have 19 minutes, and we will reconvene the meeting, and hopefully we can get in and out of here pretty quick tonight. Thank y'all for coming. Corey, you got it all? 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call the Satsuma City Council to order for our regular August the 16th, 2022 meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler,
Present.
Councilmember Skelton, Councilmember Reese,
Present.
Councilmember Phillips,
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that all the elected officials, with the exception of Mr. Skelton, are here, along with yourself, the city attorney, and the department heads. We start our meetings every week with a prayer and followed by the pledge. So in just a moment, we're going to ask you to stand and remove your hats. Please silence or turn off your cell phone so they will not disrupt the meeting. But with that being said, Mr. Little has agreed to lead us, so if you would, please stand and remain standing for the pledge.
Father, we thank you for this day you've given us, Lord. We just ask your blessings on this meeting tonight. Just thank you for the ones that are here, Lord. We just ask you to be with our first responders, Lord. Officer McClendon, just ask prayer for him, Lord. We just pray for guidance, watch over us, be with our country, Lord, and just help us to do your will here tonight, Lord. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Next, we have approval of the agenda. Everyone has it. We reviewed this in pre-council. I think there is a add-on, will be G. We're going to schedule a workshop for Tuesday, a week from tonight, August 23rd, 2022, starting at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Little to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Okay, let's show it. The agenda is approved, and we will move on to the minutes from our prior meeting of August the 2nd, 2022.
Make that motion, we approve those minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the minutes as distributed from our past meeting of August the 2nd, 2022. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay. Our recognitions tonight, in our pre-council, we read at length a proclamation recognizing one of our longest businesses. I guess it is the longest business in Satsuma. For McConaughey Drug Store for their 70 years of service and dedication to the city of Satsuma. Just for time, I'm not going to read it all again, but it just acknowledges Mr. Norman John McConaughey, who started the McConaughey Drug Store here in Satsuma 70 years ago, and he's had several people that worked there for quite a number of years. His son, Dan, now runs the business, and there will be a ceremony tomorrow at 10 a.m., so if any of you can make it, please go by. They've told me to extend the offer to all of the council and to the citizens of our city. We will have that. I think Mr. Little is going to present that to Dan tomorrow. He's known Dan like I have all of our life, so, but any of y'all are welcome to come if you can make that tomorrow. So, wanted to bring that up under recognitions, and we hope that they will have many more years of successful business here in the city of Satsuma. So, our recognition. We do have some visitors on tonight. The first one, we addressed it in our pre-council meeting, and I think she went ahead and left, but Ms. Crystal Seeley from Satsuma High School requested to have a permit for a homecoming parade to be held on, I think it's September the 15th, Thursday, September the 15th, and at 6 p.m. So we discussed that in pre-council, and I think the council is in agreement to give the parade permit for that day. So if one of y'all would like to make that in the form of a motion to okay the parade permit and waive any fees may be associated.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Phillips, to grant the permit for a parade for the homecoming day on September 15th, 2022. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Okay. Ms. Callen, just for the record, would you like to just approach one more time, and we will make this, since we're going to probably just make a motion instead of adding it to the agenda. And that way y'all can stay, or if y'all would like, you can leave whenever this is over. But
The Women's Club of Satsuma is having their annual Thanksgiving dinner. It's one of our biggest fundraisers for the year. And we would like to ask the council to waive the cleaning fee for that day, and with the understanding that the Ladies Club will do all the cleaning afterwards and the rental fee. So we come before you tonight asking that. Thank you.
I'll put that in the motion, Mayor.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little to waive the rental fee and also the cleanup fee, with the understanding that the Women's Club will do the cleanup after their fundraiser on November the 13th. And you said the times would be 12 to 2 is when it will be open. Any further discussion? Take a, that was, you said we have a motion and a second down there? Oh,
Mr. Phillips and Randy.
All right, well, Mr. Little, didn't you say you was going to make that in?
We got it seconded already.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Okay, you got it. The fee is waived and you got it. So good luck with it. Hopefully it'll be something you can, y'all can make some good money at and get this project going. Okay, we had a gentleman come in, wasn't here for the pre-council, he got in too late. He said he would like to come before the council and ask some questions. You want to come on up, please introduce yourself and give your name and address and
Yes, Norman Dubers, live on 501 South Oak Drive. And I guess me and the neighbors are concerned, we have been hearing about water and sewer. That's been going on for years, so to speak. You know, we had the thing at Steel Creek, okay, and the surveyors come, and we ain't seen nothing, you know. And like I said, put some flags, a little paint. And we just curious, the neighborhood just curious where we stand on, you know, the water and sewer coming.
Okay, Norman, most of the business pertaining to the expansion of the water and sewer lines, and where you're talking about is boring the interstate over toward the Satsuma Oaks area, we handle most of that business from the water board next door.
Yeah.
I know you came to the meeting the other night with some of your neighbors. Basically, is all I can tell you, the county engineering department has been working on that project for about 2 years now. They keep continuing to tell me that they think that they're making progress, and they hope to bid this out maybe as early as next month. And we're very anxious to see that project get started also, because we know that there are a lot of residents in that area that need the water and the sewer. So all I can tell you is we are eagerly awaiting, and I do think we're very close. It's like every other project, getting engineers involved and grant writing and government money and having to get the okay from different agencies, right-of-way issues that we have dealt with that has taken quite some time on, in dealing with some of the landowners over there has been a challenge at some time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and some of those things can hold the projects up, but I really feel like we are getting very close with the county, who they will oversee the bid process, not really us. But they have been good to work with, and I do think it's close. Jay, you've been involved in a lot of those talks. Do you feel pretty confident we're close to?
Tell me, and then we've got the right-of-way issues
Matt McDonald and from the engineering, and Matt Jones from the county engineering have both been very, very good to work for, and they both have assured me that we are very close to having the project ready for bid. So
Okay.
I will keep you apprised of any major news I hear, and they were telling me that they were looking forward
Okay,
to
you
something.
know, we've just, neighborhood's curious, so, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we actually had a couple other people come in after the meeting got started, so we will open the floor if anybody has anything. I think this weather's kept a lot of people away tonight, but is there anybody else that would like to approach the council tonight? Okay. Well, if there's no other visitors or people wanting to approach, we'll go into our regular order of business. I went over most of this in our mayor's report earlier in our pre-council, and so we will try to speed through this again tonight. I did remind the council that we are hoping to have the bid for our municipal streets being Pine, or Park Street, Maple Street, and Dogwood bid out before the next council meeting. So hopefully, at our next council meeting, we can discuss those bids, where they come in at, and see about awarding the bids at that time. So, y'all hold it down back there in the back a little bit, please. And reminded everyone that our municipal dinner is Thursday night. It's in Central for those who will attend. We discussed the proclamation for McConaughey's at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Fuel expenses, we don't generally bring that to the council. But I did mention to y'all that we wanted to go ahead and purchase some fuel to put in the tanks for, in case of an emergency during this time of the year with the hurricanes and all. So we will have access with our own generators and all to be able to pump, so we would not be in a bind if, in fact, we were to be without power or something. So if there's no problem with that, whoever the company is that we can get the lowest price from, I'm going to ask that we just buy probably 1,000 gallons of unleaded fuel and 100 to maybe 200 gallons of diesel. We don't really need that much diesel, I don't think, so it's mainly still full from when it was last purchased.
Do we need to see if it's still good?
We already done that.
You did that, okay.
Had it tested, and then they gave us the additives for the gas and the diesel to run it. We've been running in the non-emergency vehicles for about 30 days now.
I
Just
gotcha.
trying to save money.
Okay.
Okay. Heather's the ID cards get started.
Yes, sir.
For
City Hall's
county
been
employees?
completed. Public Works is going tomorrow to have their pictures made.
Yeah, we're getting some new ID cards made for all the employees. I'd also like for the elected officials to have a ID card for their records. We discussed the sign that seems to be coming up every council meeting on Juniper. As I said in a pre-council meeting, the sign showing the dangerous curve did come in, but all the some of the posts and U-bolts and all the things that to connect the signs together was not with it. So I'm hoping at the next council meeting, we will have that in, and those signs will be up. We got it in the agenda later on, but, and I'll cover it at that point, but the items that, it's gonna be a lengthy workshop, so I'm telling you now, you probably need to plan on us being here for a couple hours that night. If we devote 20 minutes, or that's what I'd recommend, us just set a time on each one of these that we discuss it. If not, the budget itself could take the whole workshop, but getting ready for that. Okay, I think the other things that we have are on the agenda. But I would like to go into something that happened at the last council meeting. It was brought up about us not doing work at the parks. And I just went by and made some notes in the 21 months that I've been the mayor. When I was sworn into office, it was right after some hurricanes, and we had trees down at the disc golf course, and it was in disarray. We got that cleaned up. There had been some new concession stands and restrooms that had been under construction for quite some time. They were not finished. Well, we completed that project. We've made repairs to the lights where we had damage to some of the poles. We even had one of the major poles, big poles on the boys' field that was down from the hurricane. The school helped with that project, and we got the lights repaired. And we also had damage to the roof at the library and at Steel Creek Lodge. We got the lodge repaired, although it did take a couple of months, and we replaced the roof on the library. We have done replacing some fences at both Lions Park and at Wright Park. We have completed a dog park. We have made other repairs there at that park, including tearing down some old playground equipment that we found to be dangerous and not safe for playing. There's new benches that's been added there at both Wright around the splash pad and at Magnolia Park around the dog park. Just this week, I think there were some new lights that's been installed. We did over $100,000 in total upgrades to Steel Creek Lodge, which I think turned out very nice. The tennis courts have been resurfaced for about $32,000, and they look very nice, and we got that going. We repaired the fence around Magnolia Park, including putting in some of the gaps that was in the basketball court, which, to my knowledge, had not had any maintenance done in years. Several times we've made repairs to the fountains here in front of the City Hall and at Baldwin Square, as you've seen that we had complaints about those not functioning properly, so the pumps have been replaced and both are working good. Several times we have added rocks or sand and dirt to the parking area at Steel Creek Lodge and at the boat ramp at Vaughn's. We've restriped the parking lot in Steel Creek. We did that with city labor. And then we did some restriping around the library also with our city labor. We'd made some repairs and renovations to both press boxes at Lions Park. Also, I thought for 2 years in a row that City Hall looked very good and that Baldwin Square was very good whenever we decorated for Christmas. The daily duties in the parks is we have someone that goes 7 days a week and checks the park restrooms, the garbage cans, any signs of danger or anything broken where we can stop or seal it off or call whoever can repair it. I think our parks look very good. Obviously, with some of the weather we've had, it's been difficult to keep the grass and weed eating caught up. But for our limited crew, I think they do a good job. I think the parks look good. I think our restrooms are checked and clean. These guys do the touching up of the paint, small lights, small repairs. We do all of that stuff in-house. Also, Public Works assist parks or for our event staff, like when we have the Christmas parade, Swamp Fest, runs, dog parades, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, the We Love Satsuma. In every major sporting event that I know of that we've been notified, we have everything, what fields will be used, what restrooms may be there, if it's a ball game or if it's a fishing tournament. We try to make preparations for that. I I'm very proud of the accomplishments that the guys have done and the price that we have been able to do it in. Currently, the ladies group has raised money that they've been working on for several years for the Union Chapel project. We had the groundbreaking on that a few weeks ago, and I'm glad to see that that project is finally moving forward, and I hope that we can keep it going, and it's something that will be a benefit to our parks. It will be a new addition and something that will be here for many years to come. There's been a lot of complaints about Dogwood Trail going into our park. We have many events that are at Wright Park throughout the year. We also have a subdivision that runs off of Wright Park that uses Dogwood. We have the cemetery, the only one in our city that uses Dogwood for that. We hope to have that bid out this month. We've made signs advertising, showing, or pointing to our city parks. We are waiting on them to come in currently. On all of our projects, we have experienced problems that I don't think anybody would blame any of us for. For the past 2 years dealing with COVID, the slowdown in supply chain, working with engineering and large companies, our Go Mesa project, we hope to see at Steel Creek, is running behind. I don't blame anybody for that. I think other cities are having the same problems we're having. We do need some playground equipment, and we need a master plan, as one of the council members brought up at our last meeting, where we identify what we are going to do, when we plan to do it, how we can afford to do it, and complete what we start before we move on to another project. And as far as being told that certain people don't know what's going on, I don't understand that. Since being mayor, I've tried to live stream our meetings where we have those. Anybody can see it. They can go back and watch it anytime they want. We have a calendar that's put out, so all the council members or anybody in the city can see most of the things that we have going on. We're trying to get that on our website, and it will show you Board of Adjustments, Planning Board, Library Board, School Board, our meetings, our workshops, and I don't know how else I can make it any clearer or let anyone know what's going on any more than I'm doing so. I guess I would recommend come to the council meetings, come to the workshops. Don't arrive just in time for the meeting to start and leave as soon as it's over. Ask questions. If we have a workshop, tell us what you want to know about. We'll put it on there. I'm here every afternoon and almost every Saturday morning. I will gladly meet with any of the elected officials, department heads, or whoever to look at any problem, to review what they may have that they want to do, what we might need to put on the budget, how we can prioritize things. But if someone feels that they need to accuse me of not caring or not being here, I would challenge that, for I do think a lot of this city, I've been here all my life. I've got a lot of friends and family here, and I am doing the best job I can. I'm sorry that some of these projects are delayed, but I do not plan to sit here another night and get talked to the way I did at a past council meeting. And I want that known and very clear tonight. I've tried to treat each of you with respect, to you or your families, and I would expect the same in return. So if anybody has anything to say, they can say it now. If not, we'll go on. Mr. Little, Public Services.
Mayor, I don't have anything else tonight.
Mr. Butler, Public Safety.
I don't have anything tonight.
I think, Mr. Butler, earlier on, you'd said that you were going to attend a
Oh, yeah.
police graduation. You were going to represent the mayor and council
Right.
in Selma.
We're
Thursday.
leaving, 5:30 in the morning on Thursday with, the chief.
I hope y'all have a good, safe trip. Y'all be careful on the road. And congratulate the officer, and we'll look forward to seeing him at the next meeting. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Mr. Skelton's out tonight. He had he's a little under the weather, I think, he and his family, so we hope he'll get better and be able to return to the next meeting. Moving on to parks. Ms. Reese.
Yes, sir. As I mentioned in pre-council, talking about the upcoming budget workshop, did want to mention that the community center is in need of a makeover that would include painting the inside and then purchasing some tables and chairs. I think this would be a good opportunity to get the return on investment to boost the rental of the community center. Also, speaking with Tiffany at the library, if we could consider an increase in the appropriation to include the percentage of the pay raise that was given to the city employees. And as a reminder, we don't pay the library employees directly. We give an appropriation to the library, and then that's decided by the library board. I believe it's the board, how they get paid. So we can consider that at the workshop. Also, the library did say that they would be able to come up with $5,000 of a contribution towards that electronic sign, the message board that you had spoke about at the last meeting. And we can talk about that more, I guess, maybe at a workshop or a future event. I know Tom and Tiffany were working together on getting a quote. Also, it was brought to my attention by a concerned citizen who lives off of 2nd Street behind or I guess in the outfield area of the Babe Ruth Field at Lions Park. He said that baseballs are being hit into the yard. He had a safety concern. If someone were to get hit, we wouldn't want that to happen. Also, their cars are there, could break a window to their house. Maybe consider putting up a net from the third base side outfield fence to maybe like where the scoreboard is. Anyways, Mr. Phillips asked, maybe the citizen could come. So I will reach out to them, see if any of the homeowners want to come address the council. Would you prefer them to come to the workshop or the next meeting? Or just whatever they're
That's one of the
able
items we
to?
have on the workshop agenda that we're going to discuss later. What's y'all's preference? I would say, no, let's don't bring anybody in. If we start bringing people in, it's going to be hard to keep it under 2 hours right now with minimum time on
Okay.
each topic.
So I guess that'd be the September meeting,
Yes, ma'am, that'd be fine.
September
That'd give us
6th.
that'd give each of the council members time to go by and look, and also give us I'd like to get a foot of from home plate to the fence line, so we know what we're looking at.
Yes, sir. And this, I will mention, this is not the kids that actually are with the Lions Park baseball teams, because those are younger children. These are high school kids that are playing, I guess, home run derby, if you will, to see who can knock it over the fence. So that's probably an additional issue as well. But it is a park, so I don't know what to do, but that's why I wanted to bring it up to y'all and see if we could put our heads together and come up with a solution. Also, Heather sent out some information about the park expenditures. And so with the budget items of the Still Creek renovation left over, the Parks and Recreation budget that has money left in it, and then the capital money for the Wright Park C&D field renovation, there is money for, we've already approved the signs, so that'll be coming out of there for the Bark Park. The C&D field construction, that quote is or the estimate is included in the packet. And then I have not heard back from Ms. Ludgood's office about the fountain, but I do strongly believe that we need to go ahead and get a fountain in there if we're going to open the park. So we'll have water for people to drink and for the animals to drink. But that is in the budget. There is money left over, and I'd like to move forward with that before the end of September. So do you guys have any questions? Did y'all get a chance to look over that? I guess just reach out to me if something comes up. The library did have a few events that are coming up. They're going to have preschool story time on Wednesdays at 10:30. And in September, there will be, September 7th, they're going to have silhouettes, scissors, paper, portrait. That's at 11 o'clock. September 27th at 2:30 will be Future Entrepreneurs Teen Program. And come by the library for that if you're interested. And then there's some upcoming events in October, and I'm sure you can check out their Facebook page or drop by the library for more details. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Moving on, Public Works, Mr. Phillips.
Mayor, as I spoke earlier in the pre-council, I did want to mention the good job that Travis Jones and the Public Works Department's doing. The city looks great, especially with all the rain we're having, so I know they're having difficulty keeping up. And I also wanted to bring up, being that October was going to be Breast Cancer Month, about purchasing pink bulbs to put in the lights on Baldwin Square for that month. And I'd like to see that done. And like I said, the ones we bought for Christmas, I believe, were like $397, which we didn't buy them, they were donated. And I don't know the council's opinion on that, but I would like to see it done.
Okay, can we get the prices on that, Mr. Phillips, from
Sure,
the bulbs and just
Travis,
report back?
right.
on the, what we're looking at? I mean, do we have any other, if we're going to go buy some, is any other time of the year we need any other light colors? I'd like to go ahead and see, so we don't have to bring it back up and make a, long discussion. I just don't know if I know that there are other cancers.
I'd like to see certain holidays and occasions celebrated, but like I say, that's one I knew was coming up. And we already do Christmas. I hadn't really given much thought on anything else.
What about like bows instead of the bulbs?
Well, I was
Like the
planning,
big
I was
pink-
actually planning on buying bows and putting around them after we put the lights there, doing that also. Make it look nice, show we in support of it.
Tasteful pink.
Huh?
Tasteful pink.
Pink's pink. That's all I got, Mayor.
I thought you said something earlier, that before we got in today, that about trying to get the sidearm back out here again or something, didn't you?
Well, we talked about trying to schedule that again, but, they've done such a good job at it in 2 days, and it would be nice to reschedule it, another Friday and Saturday.
There was a couple of homeowners over in the area we're talking about that has got there's so much growth that's got in around where, in order to get a fire truck into certain areas or other hazards, that I feel like it'd probably take pretty much one day just doing that, so.
And it does a good job on the overhanging limbs too for the school buses,
Right.
the RVs.
Well, we're starting to send the garbage trucks and those things in areas where we really hadn't had a lot of growth before. There's some buildings, so.
It would be nice, maybe even schedule the street sweeper with it, because there was a lot of streets that did not get swept on that 2 days.
Let's see when they could get, if they could get those back out again. Okay. Do you have anything else, Mr. Phillips?
That's all, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, I
Yes, ma'am.
forgot one thing. I'm glad that you said, the banners that we purchased last year, I was wondering if we could put that on our radar. We got the fall banners, and I don't know when it's officially fall, but they've already installed the hardware, so that the hard part, or, a lot of the work was already done last year. So I don't know when we want to consider hanging the banners. Maybe they can work it into their schedule, beginning of September or something like that.
I'll mention it to Travis so we can get them out and make sure and see what we got.
Okay.
I'll have an answer for you,
Yes, sir, thank
maybe
you.
by the workshop. Any of the council members have anything else? If nothing else, we'll move on to items for discussion and/or consideration. A is payment of the bills.
I'll put that in form of a motion, Mayor, that we pay our bills and the balance due of $45,447.46.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Mr. Little, to pay the bills in the amount of $45,447.46. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're moving on to B, and that's, we discussed this in pre-council, and this was adding or discussion and consideration of purchasing a 5-ton unit for Steel Creek Lodge that will be replacing the old 4th unit that we had on the, the southeast corner of the building. We may have to do some power upgrade to get the power back down for that big of a unit. And Mr. Phillips requested that we get an additional bid. So we'd have 3 bids on the project. So do y'all want to push this forward, or is it okay to lay it over to the next meeting until we can get some additional bids, at least 1 more, maybe 2 more?
I move we table item B.
A second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Butler to table B, and that's the 5-ton unit Steel Creek Lodge until the next meeting. I guess that's what you're saying, until we get to
It's
other
third
bids.
bid,
Third
right?
bid, yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
It's tabled. Okay, we discussed C, discussion and consideration of increasing the business license issuance fees from $12 to $14.
Would this be an annual, like, any new business and then a renewal after that? They get the same rate? One-time fee?
For every,
Every year.
Every year, okay.
or every business license.
I move that we consider increasing the business license insurance fee from $12 to $14.
Second.
Like a roll call vote, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion made by Ms. Reese and seconded by Mr. Little to have an increase in the business license issuance fee from $12 to $14. Any discussion?
I did want to mention that this is at the recommendation of the Department of Labor, right? Alabama Department of Revenue? Is that their recommendation? And they haven't had an increase in 10 years? Is that correct?
I believe that's correct, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
But you got the notice in your packet, that the email they sent, the letter they sent out.
Okay.
And Mayor, like I said in the workshop, I just don't think now's a good time where the economy's going to do any tax increases, $2 or what. I'm just not in favor of that. So I would like to have a roll call vote.
Okay,
Mayor, it's not actually a tax, is that correct?
It's an increase on the small business.
I understand that.
we have a motion made by Ms. Reese, it was seconded by Mr. Little. There was some discussion, and Mr. Phillips has requested a roll call vote on the increase. Is there any other discussion? If not, can I ask the clerk to give us a roll call vote on the,
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
No.
Mayor Garland.
no. Okay, let it show that it passed on a 3-2 vote. We're moving on now to D and E. We can kind of combine those in our pre-council. As we've discussed several times in meetings, we've had one of our police officers gone to Selma for school for several months. He graduates Thursday. We've also had 2 firemen in school in Mobile for the firefighter 1 and 2, along, when they completed that several weeks ago, I think were out maybe 2 weeks, and then went into the EMT course. And so they are, according to the chief, now they've completed and passed their national registry and are completing their rotations now. So it was a 5% increase for the EMT and a 5% increase for completing firefighter 1 and 2. Basically, it'd be a 10% raise for them now that they are here. So there was no dissent in the pre-council, so I think we could pass just one of these for 10% and it'd be fine, but if y'all would like, we can do it, a motion for D and then do a motion for E, so.
Could we make a motion with D and E?
Yes, I think so, because they're the same thing.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve
I second it.
D and E.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let it show that the gentleman got the raise. E, consideration of a claim for Mr. Jeremy Holly for damage to a mailbox by the garbage truck. We discussed this in pre-council. There was no problem with us paying for or repairing the mailbox that was damaged. We do have some concern over a labor cost I think he has in there. Is that what my understanding was from the questions we had?
Mayor, I make this motion to, consider the mailbox and the labor. I think the labor was $100 and something. A total of, I believe it's $436.
Second.
Yeah,
On a motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Ms. Reese, and let me make sure I got the wording right, that the council will vote to pay Mr. Holly up to the amount of $436, but no, not over that, to repair his mailbox.
I think that's gonna take care of the mailbox and the labor.
Parts and labor.
Yeah, parts and labor. Huh?
It's $435.31.
$435.31.
Saying you may have to pay tax on the, I don't know.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Ms. Reese. The clerk has corrected the amount to be, I guess, using his math, $435.31. Is that correct? To repair and,
Probably need to add that to the product itself.
well, I'd like for us to agree on amount and not to go over that, though, tonight. That way, we don't have to come back. It's over.
Not to exceed $450.
That's fine with me. I'll go for that.
That's
Amount not
fine
to
with me,
exceed
and I think he'll
$450.
be happy if it's a touch, or whatever, we can just
Okay.
allow him that, and I think that'll be fine.
Okay. Now, for the third time, an amount not to exceed $450 to Mr. Holly to replace his mailbox, and that pays him any labor or what he's requested. And this should end this issue.
Correct.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, we'll pay Mr. Holly. We had an add-on to our agenda tonight to schedule a workshop as the fiscal year's slowly coming to an end. We have several topics that we need to look at. Heather, you gonna be able to get the financial stuff to us for up through the third quarter with everything?
All we have to do is August when it comes in.
Okay. Just so we'll have the information we need to at least get started. So we'll ask the department heads if they can to try to have something by Monday at lunch, at least to start on your budget, because I think each of you have already started looking at your budget. So,
And the last, financials that were given out were through the end of June. So, and July's done now, so
okay.
the August will not be ready by your meeting, because the month didn't know.
we still should have a pretty good idea where we're looking at in the budget, so. All right, we're going to set a workshop for 6 PM next Tuesday night, August the 23rd, 2022. And we have several items, and we're going to try to set these to not to exceed 20 minutes. This will be the first meeting to start our budget process for our upcoming fiscal year. Filling some police vacant positions that we have and promotions that are coming up. The other items are very close to that, so we'll probably be able to maybe keep this at around 40 minutes, but looking at some police-related security things, some recommendations I think that we will make that we think would be a good idea for us to start exploring. I think it's time we looked at some modern technology that we can bring into the city for a reasonable price. Also, parking. This has been a little bit of a topic here recently. Our parking ordinance probably needs to be updated. I wanted everybody to have a chance to look over it, have a chance to discuss it, and come back. Not that we'll have a final decision on Tuesday night. But we've got certain roads that you can't hardly get on down, and they got people parking on both sides in instances, parking in curves. People are complaining and saying it's a safety hazard. It's the inability of just getting a fire truck or even the garbage truck, which runs every day down some of these streets and all. So, and every time we enforce this or try to do something, they point out other areas of the city where we're not doing that. And I think that that's going to be one of our challenges in making a citywide policy. Also, code enforcement. We have been working with several landowners or property owners about some properties that neighbors have been complaining on. We have had some success with some structures being torn down, repaired, or lots being cut, and I'd like to update y'all on what we have going on there. And Ms. Reese was wanting to discuss some park things. I think she wants to get started on a couple other projects in the near future. And she's wanting to discuss a net to go behind the fence, which I'm thinking you're talking about maybe at the corner of Magnolia and then running back south down Second Avenue is where it's going into some of those yards.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, so the outfield of the Babe Ruth field, the large field, from like the third base corner
okay.
To maybe like center field, something like that.
We'll get some, what the distance is from home plate to that, so y'all have a little bit of knowledge on what we're talking about. But those are the items. Is there anything else? I think those items will keep us here for quite a while.
That'll
So
be plenty.
I agree with that, Mr. Little. Okay, well, if I will get a motion from one of you that we will have a meeting next Tuesday night, 6 PM, a workshop to discuss the items that's been mentioned.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and second. We have a workshop next Tuesday night, 6 PM. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, resolution, ordinance is another business. Ordinance 544 is an annexation of property from Mr. New, who came to the last meeting. The property is out near the I-65 service road, kind of back in there at the end of Boyd's Lane. If you go down Boyd's Lane from the I-65 service road, it'd be the last property on the right. I think their family owns quite a bit of little property over there, so we all agreed to bring that into the city. So with that being said, that's what ordinance 544 is, and I'm not going to bore y'all with a long, lengthy reading, but if you
Make that motion to accept the annexation of Mr. Zachary New into the
good, thank
city.
you.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Little and was seconded by Mr. Butler to approve the annexation of the property on ordinance 544. Just need to put it up for immediate adoption tonight. So I guess we asked that we suspend the rules and put ordinance 544 up for immediate adoption. Is that?
So
what we
moved,
need to do?
yeah.
That's Mr. Little's
Second.
and Ms. Reese's second. It was to that. So all those in favor of suspending the rules and putting this up for immediate adoption? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. All right, now I think we need a motion to adopt ordinance 544.
I make that motion, we adopt the ordinance 544.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Butler to put, for adoption of ordinance 544, annexation of the property. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. I'll let it show that they are now in the city. Good. B, ordinance 545 was a business license issuance fee increase from $12 to $14. Earlier, we brought that up, and it passed on a 3-2 vote. So I don't intend to stand in the way of the vote tonight. Y'all made it, so Ms. Reese, you said you was putting it up in our pre-council for a motion to adopt ordinance 545, increasing the issuance fee.
Yes, sir. Do we have to suspend the rules for that one?
Yes, because it wasn't discussed at the prior meeting, and
I move that we suspend the rules for ordinance 545.
Second.
Question roll call, Mayor.
okay, Mr. Phillips, I think.
Yeah, but I can request it.
Oh,
I thought it was, but you didn't say anything, and so you was over there. Okay, well, we'll go back and correct it, because I don't want us to be in wrong. There's a roll call vote to suspend the rules and put ordinance 544 up for immediate adoption. It was unanimous, but for the record, let's have a roll call of the vote.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese,
yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
No.
No, this is
Wait.
544, this is annexation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were still on the business.
Mark it down. He
Yes,
said
yes, I'm sorry. You backed up on me.
I said we'll clear 44 up before we do it, moving on to
Okay.
45.
Yes.
Mayor Barlow.
Yes. Let it show it
Yes,
passed.
one number difference.
All right, if you don't, it has to be unanimous to put it up. Now, we've already voted for it, but we'll put it up. 544 was put up for immediate adoption tonight. We suspended the rules. A roll call vote was taken. Is there any question? We've already voted, but I don't see a reason to do it again, do you, since it was? Okay, now we'll move to ordinance 545, a business license issuance fee increase from $12 to $14. This was not only discussed at the past meetings, so this will be something that would be put up for an immediate adoption. We've already discussed it. I think everybody knows what it is. On a motion to suspend the rules and put 545 up for immediate adoption, this has to be a unanimous vote. If it is not, if there's any dissent, we will have to put it off to the next meeting for adoption. So on a roll call vote,
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Butler,
Yes.
Councilmember Reese,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
No.
Councilmember Barlow.
well, Mayor Barlow, but I would
I'm
say
sorry,
I'm,
Mayor Barlow.
I will, I'm not,
Do we just
it's
move-
gonna pass.
table it?
I'm far, but, I mean, it's just gonna hold it over, but, okay, ordinance 545 did not,
Okay.
fail to have a unanimous vote, so it will be held over and put on the agenda for the next council meeting.
I apologize.
Okay, no problem. Tonight, we have addressed all the issues that were on our agenda. Every council member had their chance to discuss what they have going on or what they would like to do. We opened the floor up for our audience to speak, and we did hear from several members. Appreciate all y'all's time coming out in this weather. Thanks for attending, those watching, we do appreciate it. So if there's no other business that needs to come before the council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn has been made.
Second.
Motion second.